In June 1987, something impossible happened to a quiet French-Australian man. But what if the same call is quietly reaching you right now? Imagine waking at 12:30 a.m. with no idea why. You step into your garden, and suddenly the plants begin glowing with an electric blue light. The ground beneath your feet starts to wave like water. And then, without fear, without choice, you begin to rise slowly into the night sky. Before you stands a being, nearly 10 feet tall, with warm blue mauve eyes and a golden aura. She looks at you with deep kindness and says, "You have been chosen." Behind her hovers a perfect 70-meter white sphere, smooth as an eggshell, shimmering with blue-white light. No doors, no windows, and in that moment, everything you thought you knew about reality begins to dissolve. June 1987. A French-Australian farmer named Michel Desmarquet woke at 12:30 in the morning in his home in northeast Queensland, completely alert, for no reason he could understand. He dressed. He wrote a short note to his wife. "I'll be away for about 10 days. Absolutely no need to worry." He walked into his garden. The night was unnaturally silent. Not a single frog, not a single cricket. Then the garden began to glow with an impossible electric blue cyan light from above. The ground beneath his feet waved like water, and quite gently, Michel began to rise. He found himself in a strange parallel dimension, in a place unlike anything on Earth. Rocky, gray terrain, under a milky, sourceless light. Standing before him was Thao, a being of extraordinary beauty and impossible height, 9.5 feet tall, dressed in a single silver-white suit, with eyes of a blue-mauve color, unlike anything on Earth. Behind her, 100 meters away, hovered an enormous 70-meter sphere, smooth as an eggshell, shimmering with a pulsing blue-white aura. No windows, no doors, no ladder. Before they boarded the spacecraft, Thao explained where they were. This was a parallel universe that overlaps with ours at certain points on Earth. One of those points is known as the Bermuda Triangle. In these overlap zones, ships, planes, and people can slip between dimensions. They do not die. Time simply becomes suspended. Michel saw some of them in the distance. Humans who had been trapped there for tens of thousands of years, unable to return. Inside the spacecraft, the walls shifted from an intense electric yellow to an electric blue, of a shade that does not exist on Earth. These were vibrations, a decontamination process. Michael watched Earth disappear. The planet shrank on a screen before him. A continent, then a basketball, then a billiard ball, then nothing. They were traveling at several times the speed of light. Michel asked about the Arabic numerals he saw on the crew's computer screens. Thao's answer stopped him cold. "We count in Kato and Taki, but we use the numerals you call Arabic for the simple reason that it is our own system, one which we took to Earth. The system humanity has used for mathematics for centuries originated on Thiaoouba. They were traveling at several times the speed of light. Saturn passed by with colors no human photograph has ever captured. Before reaching Thiaoouba, the spacecraft stopped above a planet called Aremo X-3. What Michel saw from the screens was a civilization in the final stages of nuclear aftermath. Mutant humans, deformed by radiation, some with bodies barely recognizable as human. And worst of all, giant cockroach-like creatures the size of cows, moving faster than horses in full gallop, their mandibles capable of severing a man's body cleanly in two. The spacecraft's sphere descended and vaporized the swarm with a single blue beam. The survivors dropped to their knees and worshipped the sphere as a god. Thao watched this without expression. Then she turned to Michel and said quietly, "This is what happens when a civilization chooses materialism over spirituality. Atomic energy is dangerous, but our obsession with money and accumulation is what truly drags a world toward catastrophe." It was a mirror, a warning for Earth. Michel Desmarquet had just seen the proof, on a screen, in real time.
Aremo X-3 is receding. We're moving away.
Look, a new light above us.
It's the Thiaoouba. It's approaching.
Its light is incredible. So warm.
When Thiaoouba came into view from orbit, Michel was speechless. Nothing he had ever seen or imagined prepared him for this. A golden amber world of extraordinary beauty. The beings lived in transparent egg-shaped structures called dokos. No doors, no windows, entered through a magnetic field. They flew individually, silently, using a small belt device. No pollution, no noise. Every being appearing the same age because they could regenerate their bodies at will. This was Category 9, the highest planet in the galaxy. Earth, Thao explained, is Category 1, a kindergarten planet designed to teach basic social values through difficulty. But the most surprising things was they all beautiful-looking women of planet Thiaoouba were hermaphrodites, simultaneously male and female, achieving what the ancient tradition called Ardhanarishvara, the perfect synthesis of masculine and feminine energies into one supreme being, not as mythology, as biological reality. The seven masters, the Thaori, guided Michel into what they called the Psychosphere. Think of it as a cosmic hard drive, an etheric recording of every event in planetary history, held in the fabric of the universe itself. And from within it, they showed Michel something deeply personal. His own past lives. He was a Suku, a soul, currently living its 81st physical incarnation. He watched himself live as an Apache chief on the American plains, as a drunk miner in the 19th century, and as Labinola, a powerful ruling queen of the continent of Mu, one of the most advanced civilizations in Earth's history. 81 lives, 81 vehicles, for the same astral body, being refined through each experience toward a higher spiritual state. The Bhagavad Gita says it in 14 words. Just as a person discards worn-out clothes, the soul casts off old bodies and enters new ones. The Thaori were saying the same thing. In a Thiaoouba Doko, millions of light years from Earth. Stay tuned to Cosmos Disclose for Part 2 of Thiaoouba Prophecy. But on the seventh day, the Thaori revealed something even more shocking. Something that would challenge everything humanity believes about history, religion, and the true story of Jesus Christ. What Michel saw next changed him forever.